Today, we will look at another key to success. We will learn about creating content and the reasons why you want to create content. Really, really good one for you guys today. Really quick one. And welcome to the Rodney podcast. I've made it known before that I really did not like English when I was in junior high and high school. And I remember in high school, I had taken an elective for my English, for one of my years in English, and I took creative writing. And I figured maybe with creative writing, I would be more excited to write and to share my stories, right? But they were not my best stories. If I look back, I'm glad they don't exist anymore. I'm glad they were on paper, and those papers are long gone because they weren't my best. I wasn't really good at being creative and describing a bowl of ice cream. It's a bowl of ice cream. It's in a white bowl. The ice cream is white with chocolate fudge is brown. There you go. Descriptive, to the point. And so I realized I can care less about what I was writing. Now, it's a problem. I was doing it for the wrong reasons, just to get a grade and get through the class. Now, if I had been more interested in something, one thing that would have been interesting would have been if I journaled or blogged about why I hated and why I had to endure. Even vlog, even a video would have been good about me agonizing. That would have been more interesting than the content I wrote. But later on in life, I found out something interesting. I was good at it. I was good at writing. My content was being, read aloud, and it was being told to the class as good when I was in college class. And the professor said, "There's a paper I want to read because it's really, really good." And it was mine. Imagine my shock when I was like, me? And it was interesting because it was about no other than real estate. And there was a huge development coming in that was supposed to come in, and I was writing about that and how it would affect the community and the people who live around it and traffic. And the teacher loved all the metaphors, the creativity, and the overall writing of my paper. So this was the first time that I realized that producing content of some type will influence the people who receive it. So this is why I produce so much content today and share what I want to share with everybody today in different forms. So today, we'll look at creating content. So thank you for joining the Rodney podcast.
The way you speak is you speak with truth, with your heart. And that will impact as many as people as you imagine, because the truth beats the lies, the hate. So, thank you so much.
Okay, today's podcast is being recorded in February of 2019, and it's part of a daily month-long series titled Keys to Success. And today's key to success is keep creating content. And it's become a popular thing for us to create content, with social media now in full swing. So, whether it's you post on Instagram or Facebook or wherever you do, years ago, it was the dreaded MySpace, right? We are creating content for a certain purpose, and we're doing it often. And there's nothing more than us portraying our image or reputation, right? And this is what it is we're trying to show people who we are, trying to have our reputation out there, whether you realize it or not. We want people to have a reaction. That's why we love the like and comment button. People at one time was asking for a dislike button to kind of share their opinion and thought. They couldn't help it. We need to share our opinions. We dislike it, we're going to put dislike, But that's what we want people to do, have a reaction. That's why we post it. It's our reputation, so we want to talk about. And I've seen many in argument from a political post or a touchy subject. And it gets out of hand all of a sudden as the comments go on, and people get angrier and angrier. I hate to admit it, though. I myself, in the past, have gotten caught up in these tirades. But I go back and ask, with all of that, why is it good to produce content? More importantly, why is it a key to success? Well, to be honest, it's not a new thought. It's just a new medium. For years, business people produce content to promote themselves, to promote their businesses, to kind of taunt their reputation. The simplest form of this for personal reasons is a resume, right? You create a resume so that a possible future employer, will kind of see who you are, and you can brag all about your accomplishments. It's content. Years ago, people used to use newspapers and advertise newspapers. And it was a big deal when you got in a newspaper, right? When something happened, you got all newspapers and to all your friends. But now with Facebook and Instagram and everything else, you can taunt your own self to all your friends and all your people. Businesses, they still spend billions and millions and millions on TV ads, kind of producing content to sell a product, to sell their idea, to sell their reputation. But I think many people miss the mark when it comes to their own personal brand, to kind of sharing who you are. Creating content in the written, visual, and audio form is a good way to build a reputation, to kind of get people to see who you are. But I think many people don't do this because they're afraid of what people will say or think. Many times I've heard people say things like, I don't want to be on video. I don't like the way I look, right? Secret is you already look like that. People already know what you look like. Or people say, I don't like the way I sound. My voice is not that great. Well, it's something you have to fight through. In these podcasts, I make many a stumble, many of mistakes. I'm not the best fluent speaker in my opinion. Even though I get lots of compliments, I think there's a lot of times I trip up, a lot of words I cannot pronounce correctly, but I continue on. Or people say I'm boring, They say I can't do it. I'm boring, even though I think we are interested in people in general, which is why we rubberneck on a freeway when something happens. We can't help ourselves with watching other people. We often tend to listen to naysayers or people who have given up on their own dreams. So they want us to accomplish ours. They kind of tell you like, why are you doing that? You shouldn't be doing that. That's a waste of time, right? So, an example of producing content and why it's important hit me like a ton of bricks recently, and it goes back to biblical days. And I'm not going to talk, I'm not going to give a biblical lesson here, mostly history. So just bear with me for a second. But Paul, the Apostle Paul, he was in prison for a long time, and all he wanted to do was go out and visit other people and teach them, right? So he did the next best thing. What did he do? He wrote letters to different people, different groups of people. And those letters are important because they're his content that he shared inside of a certain medium, which was the written form. And those are still around today that people read and learn from. It just shows you the power of content. So what's my point? The point is this: is successful people create content so that others can see what they are all about. So other people can see their reputation and who they are. And there are some things that hold people back. And people who want to do this, there are certain things that they say, you know what, I've given up or I can't do it. And the main thing I think is patience, especially on something like the video with the YouTube, right? It takes a while and consistency to get something like that going. And most people don't have a year of constantly producing something weekly, bi-weekly, daily, whatever it may be, that they just kind of given up and say, this is going nowhere, I'm stuck. A lot of that has to do with they don't improve their craft and learn how to get better, which is, I think, is another key. Don't just produce content to produce content. You want to embrace it and get better at it. Some of it may be low self-confidence. We usually hear other people, speaking into us and saying certain negative things. And so our self-confidence kind of goes down. Or we just don't do enough. We need to be consistent and determined. We need to learn how to adjust as we produce content. What are people responding to? What are they not responding to? So you have to do more. And it may seem like a lot to do, but when you do it, you'll see all of a sudden more and more people will be touched and influenced by you. So what is my advice for the next steps? What should you do? What should you do? Well, it's very simple on this podcast. It's simply create. That's it. Create. Make something. Do something. Start somewhere. Start with one platform if you need to, even though I feel it's most beneficial to do, visual, written, and audio. But if you can't do all of it, pick something, get really good at it, grow, expand, learn the craft, learn from other people, engage with others, and you'll see that whatever you're trying to promote, even if it's yourself, you'll be successful at it. So please feel free to dialogue with me on my YouTube channel. You'll see the Rodney O Weekly show that I have, and it will show you that I am living what I speak. Be sure to subscribe to that channel. The link is in my podcast description, or you can simply go to YouTube and search Rodney O Weekly. Remember, I want to inspire, encourage, and motivate all of you as you navigate this thing we call life. Thanks for joining me, and I will see you guys in the next one.